But I mastered that style. It's like the 5 deadly venoms. So all he had to do was get next to a nigga like that, and he could destroy it.
Believe in that, for real. We plan to take the same strategy we use with Death Row West, mind over matter, taking all our weaknesses and making it into our strength. That all these people talk about an East Coast, West Coast war, they like the Judas was to Jesus. They only here to cause confusion. We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago, because we've been beat these. It's not a game.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, the only way for me to come back is as EGOVELI. I love LA. So I return as EGOVELI to bring justice. Again, call me Boxing Ego, aka EGOVELI, aka the Punisher, Frank Castle. Right now, I gotta restore the feeling, because what I notice in boxing is this generation of boxing fans, there's a lot of sheep. So I guess I gotta be the wolf, right? And what I show you in the video, I'm going to actually show you new media style, so you can dislike, but you can't disprove. Let me say it again. What do I say to you guys? You can dislike, but you can't disprove. Now, Froch, he did an interview with Sky Sports, and he had some interesting things to say, and I actually agree with what he had to say. So he had a top 10 pound for pound list, right? And you can go to their website. The link will be in the description. His pound for pound list, he does not have Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez in at number 1 like HBO and a bunch of other people I've seen. Even Floyd Mayweather said Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And he has Sergey Kovalev in at number 1. He has Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez at 2, and then Andre Ward in at number 3. Now, me personally, and this is no Bay Area bias, I think Ward should be before Chocolatito. But whatever, you guys could put him in at number 3. He's been less active or hasn't got a knockout, whatever you want to say. That's cool, because at the end of the day, if you have this man, Sergey Kovalev, in at number 1, when they fight in November, the winner of that fight will inherit that number 1 spot. And I think that is the true number 1 pound for pound person in boxing. If you add this man, Sergey Kovalev, what he's done thus far, and this man, what he's done thus far, clearly, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, with no HBO commentary, with no bias, that is the number 1 person, whether it be Ward or Kovalev, period. And there's a lot of people, and I understand how marketing goes, but I'm just going to show you guys the real side. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, hell of a fighter. I rate Roman Gonzalez. He's one of my favorites to watch. In fact, I'm going to show you. I don't have to, but I'm going to, because I can, right? Now, if you look at my channel, a simple search, Boxing Ego First Look or Boxing Ego Roman Gonzalez, it'll probably pop up. 1 year ago, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez dazzled knockout performance on HBO. Gave him nothing but praise on that. Before that, I did a Boxing Ego First Look, and we'll just click on it. I said Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez top 10 pound for pound star. That is the title of the video. Do I think he belongs in the top 10? Sure. He's a hell of a fighter. Do I think he deserves number 1 spot? Hell no. And that's just as real as I could be. He's a great fighter. If you want to put him in the top 10, that's fine. But guys like Nonito Donaire, who were dominant for 11 years with 1 career loss before Rigondeaux, of course, he wasn't even pound for pound number 1. So what has Roman Chocolatito done that's above what Donaire's done? Donaire moved up divisions. He was knocking people out the same. His style and technique maybe not as fundamentally sound as Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Maybe doesn't look as smooth, but he was getting the job done. Beating guys like Vic Darchinyan and Fernando Montiel, right? And this is the thing. Not only was he beating them, he was dazzling and knocking them out. And that at that point, there were a lot of players that were ranked and looked like major threats that only a few handful of elite fighters could probably beat them when Donaire was moving up through the smaller divisions. The difference now with Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is until you get to about the 122 mark, there aren't as significant names. 122, 126, 130, you got a lot of action. You got guys like Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Vasyl Lomachenko, Nicholas Wall. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So you got a ton of divisions, but just below that, there's not as many emerging stars, right? And then I'm going to show you that in the video, but we can click on this, you know what I mean? This is easy work. You guys hear what I said. May 14th, 2015. Now, I have a lot of stuff going on that I was going to work on, and I was like, man, I might not get time to make this video. And I put that stuff aside to make that video. Now, if you follow my channel for a while, you'll know this is something I always try to do, and that's throw shine to some of the fighters who aren't being talked about as much, yet they're good fighters. And I put a lot of people on fighters. People get mad like, oh, you didn't put me on. I'm telling you, if you watch my channel, there's people like Kell Brook. I picked him to beat Sean Porter, and I was telling people about Kell Brook, and he was a good fighter. People were like, no, he's fighting bums and stuff like that. Terrence Crawford. I'm not talking about after Terrence Crawford beat Gamboa and became champion and all kinds of stuff. I'm talking about before Brandon Prescott. Even Triple G back in 2012, 2013, when I was first starting the channel up or whatever, I was telling people, watch out for Triple G before Rosado and all of this Mexican style and all that. So when I drop videos like this, I'm trying to drop a gem so you guys can look and, you know, use my voice in order to get people to pay attention to certain fighters. I'm not trying to take credit. I'm not saying I train these fighters, but Roman Gonzalez is on that list. I think this is a guy who should be on people's, in terms of skill, pound for pound list. Top 10 pound for pound right now. You know what I mean? So that's all you guys need to hear. And again, you guys, the video's still up. It's from May 14, 2015. This was before his HBO debut. This was before he had his first fight at HBO and he started getting this praise and making it on the ESPN top 25 in the last 25 years list, right? The reason I'm showing you this because people say, oh, you're just hating, you hate Golovkin, you hate Roman Gonzalez. Why am I making videos like this before HBO? You know what I mean? Before his HBO debut. Why am I doing stuff like that? Because I study boxing and I'm a fan of the sport before I'm a fan of any other fighters. I want the growth of the sport. This kid can scrap. Period. You know what I mean? And the other reason I did it is because there's a lot of people that I know to be biased. Let's say they hate a slickster like Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward. You show me one video, one write-up, one article, one post that they have made, known Ward haters, known Floyd Mayweather haters, that they did something like that where they said, oh, this person is great, Floyd is the truth, he's the man. You know what I mean? Instead, you get a bunch of propaganda and slander. They don't have any representation like this. So if you say I hate Roman Gonzalez, why am I making this video about him over a year ago, right? Easy work. So back to Carl Froch. He says, in his words, the big punching Russian, Kovalev, is my kind of fighter. He has proven his credentials repeatedly and provided great entertainment in doing so. Impressive performance against Cleverly, Jean-Pascal, Bernard Hopkins deserves merit, especially when it's been without any regard for where the bout has been held. Like I said to Kathy Duver herself, Kovalev is a road warrior. He is far from the slickest, nor is he a multi-weight winner, but he is highly entertaining throwback who takes on all comers. I have no problem with Kovalev being there because he's a champion. He's considered the best light heavyweight. Now, again, I think Andre Ward, career-wise, maybe not in the last few years, but even then, he's done some pretty impressive things, and we're going to get to it. Break it down new media style. I still think he should be over Chocolatito, but that's my opinion. But it doesn't really matter because you still have Ward in the top 3, which is fine because when this man, again, faces this man, then that's going to determine the number 1 person. And the reason I feel that it'll determine the number 1 person, you look at Kovalev's resume. Road warrior, beat Jean-Pascal in Canada twice, beat Cleverly in the UK in his backyard, right? Knocked him out. He beat Bernard Hopkins in dominant fashion, which I also predicted Kovalev to beat him, even though a lot of people thought Bernard Hopkins was too slick for him. I told you Kovalev was a good boxer. I know my shit. It's cool. And he beat him and Bernard Hopkins kind of like his backyard because it happened in New Jersey, and Bernard Hopkins being from Philly, so all those people from Philly can make that trek to Jersey, not that far, right? And then you look at Ward. We already know what Ward's done. Chad Dawson, the Carl Froch Super 6, stepping up and taking on Kovalev's mandatory in his first fight at light heavyweight officially, and Sullivan Barrera beating him with the knockdown. So that's why that, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, to me, it's not even up for debate. That person is the number 1 pound for pound. The reason I wouldn't put Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez as high is because although he has exceptional skill offensively, defensively, I do not rate. This is why, absolutely why I hate pound for pound lists, because there's no real rule or metric. This is kind of like favoritism, because you look at even what Carl Froch says, the big punching Russian is my kind of fighter, right? And then he talks about Andre Ward, and he says he's unbeaten and decorated fighter, but his slippery point winning style leaves many people cold. That to me sounds like that's kind of why you put him back there. And not to mention, this motherfucker beat you in the Super 6. So you might have a grudge against Andre Ward, but no, he is a skilled fighter, so you just have to put him on the list. Otherwise, you would look really extremely biased if you left him off. So you know you got to put him somewhere so you can kind of finagle the numbers. This is precisely why I don't even fuck with pound for pound lists, is because it sounds like it's going to be some bias and favoritism. I'm giving it to you guys as real as possible. I really try to rate these people based on accomplishments, achievements, skill, and accolades, what they've done, not just their skill set. So again, although Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez has a very high skill set and he could do great things, he still has more to prove. Like, he's moved up in weight divisions, great, but this is the thing, it's just like Triple G. I want to see Triple G fight somebody who I feel is competitive, not a 35-1 underdog, 80-1 underdog, 100-1. You know what I mean? His division is not that popping. And then some of the people that would make for popping fights don't want to fight him, or those fights haven't been made for whatever reason. It doesn't even matter. But you can't give someone credit because they're being avoided or ducked. Golovkin is not the first person in history that has been avoided. It's not the case. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other fighters who didn't want to fight this person or that person. You still got to make your legacy and your imprint based on your path. That's just like saying, oh, Tevin Farmer and Gabe Rosado, they took early career losses. That's their career. They started boxing late, and that's their path. So you can't, I mean, fact is, Gabe Rosado got stopped by Angulo. Angulo was further along, had more experience, and he stopped him. You know what I mean? Tevin Farmer got stopped. But you look at Gabe Rosado now, he's at least with the big dogs and he's competitive, right? You look at Tevin Farmer now, he looks like a problem. He just beat Ivan Redcax or whatever, right? And he looks good. But his path, it's no different. It's just like kind of the opposite of like a Golovkin. The bottom line is, this is his journey. Tevin Farmer, Gabe Rosado, their journeys inquire them to learn on the job because they had minimal amateur experience. Same thing with Peter Quillen. He didn't have a high illustrious amateur background, so he had to learn on the job. So again, everybody has a story. Everybody has their own individual path. For Golovkin, for his path to greatness, maybe he has to step up and wait. If he can't get the fights he wants immediately, and he's just going to kind of fight the same level or echelon of fighters, maybe he has to step up and then drop back down. Floyd did it. Floyd did it 2.5 times. He fought Oscar De La Hoya at 54. What'd he do? Drop back down. Fought Cotto, dropped back down and fought Guerrero, and then jump back up to 52 to fight Canelo. Then drop back down to face Maidana and Pacquiao. Maidana twice. Right? So that's the thing. Golovkin or whoever the person is, this is your path. If you're not in a stacked division, maybe you have to move up. It just comes with the territory if you want to etch your name in the history books. Now, back to Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Very high skill set, very entertaining to watch. I love what his path has become, and I'm liking the celebration of him. But the reason that I can't put him like HBO is because this number solely is not all it takes. 45-0 with no draws, 38 KOs. That'll get people watching you. But like Roger Mayweather always says, who's he beat? That's what it all boils down to, because I'm gonna take you guys back into history, right? And this is just, and I'm not making the comparison to the two fighters, but this is just kind of a fact. And I want you guys to see, because I'm new media, and this is what I do. I show you guys. I don't just start bumping my gums. Now, Canelo, I was born ready, fought Floyd in 2013. That was his 44th fight, right? So that means he had 43 other fights and names. And the names, some of them were big names, some of the guys were undersized, some of them were out of prime, whatever. But the bottom line is he had 43 fights going into the Floyd fight. That was just almost as much as Floyd Mayweather had. Because Floyd right now is like 49-0, right? So when Floyd fought him, Oh shit, I clicked the wrong button. But when Floyd fought him, he was, let's see. Let's get back to Floyd. When Floyd fought Canelo, that was his 45th fight. So you see, they were both undefeated. Canelo and Floyd were both undefeated, and they had just almost as many fights as each other. One had 44 and one had 45 fights, if I'm not mistaken, right? So the point being is, the difference is, you look at Mayweather's body count, the people he fought before Canelo were Robert Guerrero, Miguel Cotto, Victor Ortiz, Shane Mosley, Juan Manuel Marquez, Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Carlos Baldomir, Zab Judah, Sharmba Mitchell, Arturo Gatti, Henry Brussels, DeMarcus Corley. So Jose Luis Castillo twice, Carlos Hernandez, Diego Corrales, Emmanuel Augustus, the Drunken Master, right? Angel Manfredi. So again, his body count was different because he had a higher quality of opposition, and that's what this all boils down to. It's not just about a number. It's who are you fighting? Who had Canelo beat at the time? Austin Trout, very good win for him at that time. Josito Lopez, that's to be expected. A career 140-pounder who had, I think, one fight at 47, broke Victor Ortiz's jaw in a fight he was losing. Then he stepped up to 54 and got smashed on, right? Shane Mosley, after Pacquiao had beat him, after Mayweather had beat him, and he had a draw with Sergio Mora. Sometime after that, he fought Canelo. You know what I mean? Kermit Cintron hadn't done shit in a while. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care just about a number, like Roger Mayweather says. Who has he beat? So in the case of Roman Gonzalez, I'm going to show you. He's a great fighter. He's moved up, high KO percentage, entertaining to watch. I have no beef with any of that. But these are facts. This is a good fight, and I'm actually doing a first look on it. Carlos Cuadras, that's a good fight. He got a gold in the Pan Am Games, right? So, and he's stepping up and wait for this. So this is a good fight coming up next month at the Forum. I have no problem with that. But I was at this fight. He didn't look that good against McWilliams Arroyo, who was coming off of a long layoff. He looked solid. You know what I mean? He won, but it wasn't the most impressive win. He fought Brian Valoria, a guy who had losses, you know what I mean? Who had been stopped before. He has 5 losses total, but going into this fight, he had 4 losses, right? He got stopped somewhere in 2010. So, who has Chocolatito beat that was like the dude, like undefeated? Like, even Saul Canelo Alvarez has beat undefeated guys. Austin Trout was undefeated. Floyd Mayweather has taken people's O. You know what I mean? He beat Diego Corrales, Ricky Hatton. Those were undefeated fighters. Canelo was undefeated when Floyd fought him. Pacquiao has even taken people's O's. You know what I mean? Guys like Chris Algieri or whatnot. So that's what I'm saying. Who has Roman Chocolatito beat that was undefeated and just looked like he was smashing the competition? Okay, before Valoria fight. Edgar Sosa, 52-9 with 3 KOs. So he had already been stopped, right? He fought Roman Chocolatito, but he also got stopped. He had 2 losses there, and he had a stoppage loss before, right? So when you're looking at the quality of opposition, okay, let's keep going. Valentin Leon, 38-32, and he's been knocked out 19 fucking times with 3 draws. So 74 bouts, and he's almost split. 38, 32, and 3, and he's been knocked out 19 times with the 28% knockout ratio, right? So Roman Chocolatito fought him after he fought this guy, Iran Diaz, who knocked him out. So Roman Gonzalez fought him off of a knockout loss. Before that, he had 4 wins in a row, and he had 2 losses in a row. Then he had 4 wins in a row, loss, win, loss. I mean, look at this. He's been stopped twice in a row back in 2010. Look at all this red. It looks like the game. Hey, yo, Paru, it's the game. Oh, wow. So in 2002 to 2003, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 of the 6 came from TKO. Then he got knocked out cold KO in 2001. This is who Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fought. Again, this is EGOVELI. This like what did Mayweather say to Guerrero? This ain't Berto. This the real one. This ain't the mother channels. This is EGOVELI. Now we're getting into the actual factual. But he has since lost to Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez or he is, after that fight, he lost 2 more times by stoppage, and he got disqualified for some reason, right? Again, this is recent opposition. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fought him in 2015. This is 2016. I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but that was just last year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Before his HBO debut. So again, I have trouble putting him that high on the list, saying he's over Andre Ward. No, let me keep going, right? Rocky Fuentes, 37, 8, and 2 with 3 knockouts, right? Once again, Roman fought him in 2014. He was coming off a loss to I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. Somebody in some fight in Thailand. He's coming off a loss. Then he fought Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about stacked division. And you see all these reds, and he got stopped somewhere here. Cool, right? Where else are we? (24-5), 41% knockout ratio. He's got stopped by Roman, then he got stopped after, but he had already lost and he had already been stopped before. Well, actually, he got stopped after, but he hadn't been stopped before. He had 4 losses before, or 3 losses, right? See, you guys you don't think, like I said earlier in this video, some of you guys are sheep and you don't think for yourself. You don't do the research yourself. You don't study the game. Okay, here's another Roman Chocolatito opponent. He has 11-9-1 record. He's knocked out 4 people, but he's been knocked out 5 fucking times with a 19% knockout ratio, right? Look at these string of L's right here. This is where Roman knocked him out, and then he's since lost 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But once again, when Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez fought him, he was coming off of a loss. This, he had already lost before. He had lost here. He lost his first pro fight, right? So bottom line is, what I'm trying to say is, it's clear to me, of course, Roman Chocolatito is a great fighter, and of course he's going to shine, because look at his opposition. There's not that many competitors to match him. Like Vasyl Lomachenko, he's at 130. He can make a mark in that division. If he beats Nicholas Walters, if Gary Russell moved up to 130 and rematched him and he beats him again, if he beats Orlando Salido in a rematch, if he beats Francisco Vargas, that is all quality opposition. And there's no one that can deny Vasily Lomachenko and his talent at that point, right? I'm not denying Roman Chocolate. He follows me on Instagram. These are all great things, but these are facts. This is his record. You guys can look at this. This is his level of opposition. So to me, it's improbable to put him above guys like Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, because Kovalev is not fighting people like that. Like, you know what I mean? With the half and half record that had like 19 knockouts. Who has Kovalev fought in recent memory that was like that? Bernard Hopkins, Cleverly, Ishmael Salak, what's his name? Blake Caparello, Jean Pascal, Isaac Chilimba. You know what I'm saying? He's not fighting that. And most importantly, with Ward and Kovalev particularly, they fight each other this year. So this is another Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez opponent. 21-7-3. He's been knocked out 4 times. Low KO percentage. Of course he's going to beat these guys. Once again, David Sanchez beat him by knockout before Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. A year before, he came back and got stretched by Chocolatito, and he's since been stretched again. And then before that, he lost to Rocky Fuentes. He had 2 losses in a row and a draw. He had losses. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I rest my case. Let it be what it is. Chocolatito is a great fighter, but he has to keep proving, keep showing. Again, this is a good fight. You look at Carlos Cuadras, very good fight. There's actually pictures with him and Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if Mayweather was signing him or trying to sign him, or if it was just because they're at the same event. Very good fight. I have no problem with this fight. See how realistic I am? 35-0 with 1 draw. Great record. He's undefeated with the 1 draw blemish, 27 knockouts. This guy can crack. He has 75% knockout ratio. That's all I'm saying. And he's in a new division. If Chocolatito beats him, he gets praised for this victory. But again, when you start looking at some of the other opposition, it's not comparable to Cuadras. So this is a step up. And if you step up, I give you credit for the step up, right? That's how that works. That is precisely how it works, right? But if you beat Valentin Leon 38, 32, and 3 with 19 KOs, that doesn't impress me. He has 28 knockouts and he's been stopped 19 times. Like, why would I be like, oh, he's the next person? He was coming off a knockout loss a year prior. So that's kind of a pattern. And it's funny because I covered the Alexander Brand versus Andre Ward fight, and people, they shit their pants. What? Ward, a fighter of his caliber, is fighting Alexander Brand, a super middleweight? You tell me who's better, Alexander Brand or Mr. Valentin Leon? Because this is the thing. This is new media. It's a new era. So Alexander Brand, I'm not saying he's a world beater by any means. We all knew Ward was going to defeat him. That's not the issue. But the issue is you have the media perpetuating certain messages like Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is the #1 person. At least Carl Froch had enough sense to put a rightful champion with a better paper resume and impressive performances as well at #1. But there's a lot of people that don't, that are saying that Chocolatito is the #1 person right now. Can he be? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Floyd likes him. Carl Froch, HBO, ESPN. We all love Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. That's not an issue. But again, if you're ranking him as the #1 pound for pound person, and he just fought this guy last year, right? So why would the Alexander Brand fight be a horrific fight for Andre Ward, where he gets ridiculed and criticized and all this hoopla about him picking that, and you have Ward at #3, or you don't have Ward on your pound for pound list, or wherever he's at on your pound for pound list? But last year, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez can fight Valentin Leon with a 38, 32, and 3 record and 28 knockouts, right? At age 37. So last year he was 36. You know what I mean? How is this significantly better? But this is the difference. Ward's fight with Brand, it was a lead-up fight to the Kovalev fight, so people were checking for it, and they know a little bit more. But in these light divisions, a lot of you motherfuckers don't know shit. You don't know who's who. You just go off of what other people say. Oh, Roman's the best, so I'm going to just run with this. And you don't do your research. You just know kind of the big names and stuff like that. But there's no way you can criticize Ward fighting Brand as a tune-up fight before a mega fight this year with Kovalev, his 3rd fight in the division where he's fighting a champion, yet Roman Chocolatito, someone you rank higher, is fighting a 38, 32, and 3 guy. Checkmate. Let me know what you guys think. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, great fighter. His next fight, awesome, step up. But I can't put him before Kovalev Ward winner. Absolutely not. That's what it is. You guys subscribe, share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
You don't feel it, then it must be too real to touch. You'll never in your life try to knock the truth. The illest shit ever. Get ready, cause this is about to get heavy.
Trying to keep me out, trying to censor what I say, cause they don't like what I'm talking about. So it's wrong with the media today.
Prove I'm lying if I ain't correct.